Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. Every weekend, Samantha and I would dive into the world of vintage items, losing ourselves among the forgotten relics of the past. Our lives were a series of curated moments, punctuated by the thrill of finding a rare antique or a sentimental trinket. It was a hobby that bound us together, creating a mosaic of shared experiences. Or so I thought. Lately, I had noticed subtle shifts in Samantha's behavior. Our weekend excursions were growing increasingly lopsided. The purchases she made were becoming fewer, but her time at the antique stores was stretching longer. Initially, I chalked it up to her newfound fastidiousness or perhaps an evolving taste. But the nagging doubt, the quiet murmur of suspicion, continued to gnaw at me. On a crisp autumn Saturday, curiosity overwhelmed me. I decided to venture into the antique store alone, a rare divergence from our usual routine. The bell above the door chimed softly as I stepped in, and I took in the familiar scent of aged wood and forgotten stories. Samantha wasn't there yet, but the place was bustling with activity. The saleswoman, a woman in her early 30s with auburn hair and a sharp demeanor, glanced up from behind the counter. I approached her, trying to keep my tone light despite the unease that gripped me. "Hi, I'm the husband of your regular customer. Samantha. Is she around?" Her expression shifted from polite professionalism to something darker. Her eyes narrowed, and she hesitated before speaking. "Oh, you're Mr. Andrews. She's been here a lot lately." I nodded, sensing something amiss. "Yes, she has. I was wondering why she's been spending so much time here and coming home with so little." The saleswoman's eyes flashed with a mixture of resentment and anguish. Without warning, she grabbed me by the collar and pressed her lips against mine in a shocking, impulsive kiss. My mind raced, trying to process the sudden and completely unexpected gesture. I pulled away, bewildered. What was that for? Tears welled up in her eyes. "I'm sorry. I thought it might give me some closure." "Closure? What are you talking about?" I demanded, my voice rising in confusion. Her composure cracked, and she let out a choked sob. "I caught my husband and your wife together here, in this very store. They were kissing passionately on the counter. I confronted them, and they laughed in my face. I felt so betrayed, so humiliated. And then, when you walked in, I saw an opportunity to lash out. I didn't know it would be you." The weight of her words hit me like a punch to the gut. My world tilted as I processed the betrayal. Samantha, the woman I trusted, the one I thought shared my love for the past, had been unfaithful. The very essence of our weekends together had been a lie, a facade masking a deeper deceit. I took a step back, my mind racing with a torrent of emotions, anger, hurt, and a cold resolve. "What do you plan to do now?" Her eyes met mine with a mixture of defiance and sorrow. "I don't know. I was trying to get back at him. It didn't help. It only made things worse." As the reality of the situation sank in, a plan began to form in my mind. The anger was potent, and it demanded action. I had been wronged, and I would make sure Samantha faced the consequences of her betrayal. The revelation of her infidelity was the catalyst for a change I had never anticipated, but now, it was clear, I needed to retaliate, to take back control. "I think I know what needs to be done," I said, my voice cold and determined. "You've given me the clarity I needed." The saleswoman looked at me with a mix of pity and hope. "Just be careful. Revenge rarely brings peace." Her words were lost on me. My mind was already moving forward, crafting a plan to dismantle the life Samantha and I had built together. The foundation of our shared history was shattered, and now, it was time for me to rebuild, on my own terms. The pursuit of justice, however twisted it might be, had begun. As I walked out of the antique store, the autumn wind carried away the remnants of my old life, leaving me with a singular purpose. Samantha would face the consequences of her actions, and I would ensure that our story ended with the closure I so desperately needed. The drive home from the antique store feels like an eternity. My hands grip the steering wheel tightly, knuckles white, as I navigate through the evening traffic. The revelation has turned my world upside down, and the thought of confronting Samantha is both terrifying and exhilarating. I need to confront her, to unearth the truth and plan my next move. As I pull into the driveway, I see Samantha's car parked in its usual spot. My heart races as I enter the house. The warm, familiar space suddenly feels alien, tainted by betrayal. I find her in the living room, browsing through a stack of vintage magazines she must have picked up on her last trip. Her eyes light up when she sees me. "Hey, you're early," she says, attempting a cheerful tone that doesn't quite reach her eyes. "Yeah, I decided to check out the store myself," I reply, trying to keep my voice steady. "We need to talk." The smile falters on Samantha's face. She sets the magazines aside and looks at me with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. "About what?" I sit down on the couch, motioning for her to join me. "About us. About what's been going on." Samantha takes a seat next to me, her posture tense. "What do you mean?" I lean in, my voice low but firm. "I know about your affair. I know you've been seeing someone else. The saleswoman from the store told me everything." Her face pales, and she shifts uncomfortably. "Look, I can explain." "Explain?" I cut her off, my voice rising. "How do you explain kissing someone else, someone right in that antique store? How do you explain the lies?" Tears spring to her eyes, but she tries to compose herself. "It was a mistake, a moment of weakness. It didn't mean anything." "Didn't mean anything?" I'm incredulous. "Then why did you keep seeing him? Why were you spending so much time at the store? Was it just a cover?" Samantha's eyes dart around the room, avoiding mine. "I didn't know how to tell you. I thought it would be easier to distance myself gradually." Her words are like daggers. "Easier? You think this is easy for me?" She starts to cry, and for a moment, I see the vulnerability beneath the deceit. "I'm sorry. I never meant for things to get so complicated." The apology does little to soothe the anger boiling inside me. "Sorry doesn't fix this. I've made up my mind, Samantha. We're getting a divorce." Her face crumples in despair. "Please, don't do this. I can change. We can fix this." I shake my head, my resolve hardening. "I've lost trust in you. It's over." The silence that follows is heavy and suffocating. Samantha tries to reach out, but I pull away. "I need some space. I'll stay somewhere else tonight." As I pack a few belongings, Samantha's pleas grow more desperate. "Where will you go? Please, let's talk about this." I don't respond. I need to act, to make my intentions clear. As I leave, I catch a glimpse of the life we once shared, photos on the wall, mementos of happier times, and feel a pang of loss. But the betrayal overshadows the nostalgia. The following days are a whirlwind of legal consultations and moving out. I find a small apartment close to work, a temporary refuge where I can gather my thoughts and plan my next steps. Each evening, I revisit the conversation with the saleswoman, piecing together the fragments of what happened. On the day of our divorce hearing, Samantha appears at the courthouse looking worn and distraught. Her once bright demeanor is now overshadowed by guilt and sorrow. I catch her eyes, but there's no sympathy in mine. In the courtroom, the legal proceedings are straightforward, but the emotional toll is anything but. The judge reviews the documents, and Samantha's attempts to negotiate are futile. The finality of the proceedings brings a grim satisfaction. I'm closing a painful chapter, and although it's far from over, I'm one step closer to reclaiming my life. As I leave the courthouse, a sense of closure begins to settle in. I've taken control, but the bitterness of the betrayal lingers. My thoughts turn to the future and the revenge that still lurks in the shadows of my mind. I've dismantled the life Samantha and I built together, but I'm determined to see this through to the end. The coming days will reveal whether this path of retribution brings me the peace I seek or if it only deepens the wounds. For now, I'm focused on the task at hand, untangling the mess left behind and ensuring that the consequences of Samantha's actions resonate long after our final separation. Days have turned into weeks since the court hearing, and the sharp sting of betrayal has begun to dull, replaced by a growing resolve. My new apartment, though modest, provides the solitude I need to plan my next moves. Samantha's betrayal has left me with more than just personal scars. It has ignited a fierce determination to see justice served, not just legally, but personally. I'm seated at my kitchen table, papers and documents spread out before me. Among them are the finalized divorce papers, Samantha's financial records, and various pieces of correspondence. I've begun piecing together a plan to hit Samantha where it will hurt most, her reputation and her newly established relationship with the man from the antique store, who I've learned is named Alex. I need to confront them both, but not just with words. I want to expose the truth in a way that will ensure they feel the weight of their actions. It's late evening when I decide to pay a visit to the antique store, under the guise of a curious customer. I want to gather more information about Alex and his relationship with Samantha. The shop is quieter than usual, and the saleswoman who had initially revealed Samantha's infidelity is working the counter. Her eyes light up with recognition as I approach. "Mr. Andrews," she says, trying to sound professional. "What can I do for you?" "I'm just browsing," I reply casually, scanning the store. "Actually, I'm curious about Alex. Could you tell me more about him?" She looks at me with a hint of hesitation, her gaze dropping to the floor. "He's a regular here, been coming for a few months. I don't know him very well, but he's always been very attentive to customers." I nod, noting the guarded nature of her response. "And Samantha? How often does she come in now?" "More often than before," she admits quietly. "But I can't say much beyond that." I give her a reassuring smile. "Thanks for your help." As I leave the store, a plan begins to form in my mind. I need to create a situation that forces Samantha and Alex to confront their actions publicly. But I must be cautious, any misstep could backfire. The next day, I visit a private investigator I've hired to dig into Alex's background. I'm greeted by a man in his 50s with a sharp suit and an even sharper demeanor. "Mr. Andrews, I've gathered some information for you," he says, handing me a folder. Alex Mitchell. His background is pretty clean, no criminal record. But I did find some interesting details. I open the folder to find photos, addresses, and financial records. He's involved in several local charities, but his finances suggest he's living beyond his means. Interesting. The investigator nods. Yes, it appears he might be financially dependent on something, or someone. I'd suggest keeping an eye on his social media and public appearances. People often slip up in public. I thank him and leave, feeling a mix of satisfaction and anxiety. I know the next step is to expose the affair, but I need a platform. The idea strikes me, a local charity event where Alex is involved. Public humiliation would be more effective than a private confrontation. I research local charity events and find one where Alex is listed as a prominent donor and guest. It's a gala benefiting a cause he's heavily involved in. The event is just days away. I decide to attend, planning to confront Samantha and Alex in front of their peers. The night of the gala arrives. I don a suit and tie, my demeanor calm but my mind racing with the anticipation of what's to come. The venue is elegant, filled with well-dressed guests mingling in networking. I scan the room, looking for Samantha and Alex. It doesn't take long to spot them. Samantha, dressed in a sleek black dress, is beside Alex, who is wearing a sharp tuxedo. They are engaged in conversation, their familiarity with each other apparent. I take a deep breath and approach them, my heart pounding with every step. "Good evening," I say, my voice steady as I reach them. "Samantha, Alex." Both turn to face me, their expressions shifting from surprise to tension. Samantha's face flushes with a mix of guilt and anger. "What are you doing here?" Samantha demands, her voice tight. "I thought I'd attend this charity event," I reply, my tone calm. "After all, Alex and I have some business to discuss." Alex steps forward, his demeanor defensive. "This isn't the time or place for this, Mr. Andrews." "Oh, I think it's the perfect time," I say. I raise my voice, drawing the attention of nearby guests. "You see, Samantha and Alex have been involved in a rather scandalous affair. I just wanted to make sure everyone here knows the kind of people they're supporting." A murmur spreads through the crowd as eyes turn toward Samantha and Alex. The discomfort on their faces is palpable. Samantha tries to intervene, but I continue, unrelenting. "This is what betrayal looks like," I say, my voice carrying through the room. "And I believe the public has a right to know what kind of people they're associating with." As the crowd reacts, some with shock, others with curiosity, I watch as Samantha's facade crumbles. Alex, though visibly angry, remains silent, his humiliation evident. The night ends with the gala's atmosphere thoroughly disrupted. Samantha and Alex leave hurriedly, their attempts to salvage their dignity failing. As I exit the venue, a sense of grim satisfaction washes over me. I've struck a blow, exposing the truth and forcing them to face the consequences publicly. The aftermath of the gala confrontation is chaotic. News of the scandal spreads quickly, and both Samantha and Alex face public backlash. For a brief moment, I feel a twisted sense of satisfaction, believing that my quest for retribution has reached its pinnacle. However, the thrill of victory is short-lived as a new, darker truth begins to unravel. A week after the gala, I receive an anonymous letter. The envelope is plain, but the message inside is anything but. The letter reveals that the affair was not just a betrayal of our marriage but part of a much larger, more sinister scheme. According to the letter, Samantha and Alex were involved in a covert plan to exploit wealthy individuals for financial gain. The affair was merely a cover for their scheme, designed to manipulate and defraud. I feel a cold rage as I read the letter. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was criminal. Samantha and Alex had used my trust as a means to an end, leveraging their relationship to gain access to influential people and secure illicit financial gains. The anger I feel is profound, but it's clear that the stakes have risen dramatically. This isn't just about personal revenge anymore, it's about exposing a conspiracy and ensuring that they face justice for their crimes. I decide to confront Samantha and Alex one final time, but this encounter will be different. I plan to orchestrate a scenario that will force them to confront their deception in the most dramatic way possible. I arrange a meeting under the guise of discussing an apology and reconciliation. I invite Samantha and Alex to a secluded restaurant, one with private rooms and minimal distractions. I ensure the meeting is set for late evening, when the place will be almost empty. As I arrive at the restaurant, I'm met with a mix of apprehension and anticipation. I've arranged for hidden cameras to record the meeting, ensuring that every word and gesture will be captured. This isn't just about confrontation, it's about gathering incontrovertible evidence of their deceit. When Samantha and Alex arrive, they're cautious but appear hopeful, believing this is an opportunity to salvage their reputations. We meet in a private room, and I greet them with a forced smile. "Thank you for coming," I say, motioning for them to sit. "I wanted to offer a chance for us to clear the air." Samantha's expression is guarded, while Alex looks impatient. "What's this about, really?" Alex asks. I take a deep breath, my voice steady. "I've uncovered something that goes beyond personal betrayal. It appears that your affair was part of a much larger scheme, one involving financial manipulation and deceit." Samantha's eyes widen in shock. "What are you talking about?" I slide the anonymous letter across the table. This letter explains everything. It reveals that you two were involved in exploiting wealthy individuals, using your relationship as a cover. Alex's face goes pale as he reads the letter. This is a lie. We've done nothing wrong. I stand up, my anger barely contained. The letter is just the beginning. I've gathered evidence of your fraudulent activities. I've been tracking your transactions, your communications. I know everything. Samantha's desperation becomes evident. You don't understand. We were trying to escape our own financial troubles. We didn't mean to hurt anyone. I don't care about your excuses, I reply coldly. The consequences of your actions are far-reaching. Alex tries to grab the letter from the table, but I've anticipated this. I hit a button on my phone, and the hidden cameras begin broadcasting the footage to a secure network. Within minutes, the room is filled with the sound of notifications and the sight of video feeds capturing the incriminating evidence. You're both going to face the consequences, I say, my voice steely. I've sent the evidence to the authorities and to the media. Your empire of deceit is about to crumble. Panic grips Samantha and Alex as they realize the gravity of their situation. They scramble to leave, but I intercept them, ensuring they understand there's no escape. You can't do this, Samantha pleads. We can work something out. I've worked this out already, I say, turning my back on them. The truth will come out, and you will face the consequences. As they leave in disgrace, I feel a sense of grim satisfaction. The final chapter of this saga is written, not in personal vengeance alone but in the unraveling of a criminal conspiracy. Samantha and Alex's betrayal was not just a personal affront but a significant threat to others. The media frenzy that follows is relentless. Samantha and Alex are exposed, their schemes laid bare for all to see. The financial and legal repercussions are severe, and they're left to face the fallout of their actions. In the end, the story of betrayal and retribution reaches a surprising conclusion. Samantha and Alex are not only separated from their deceitful partnership but also face severe legal consequences. Their once secure world crumbles under the weight of their own duplicity. As for me, the journey has left scars, but it has also given me clarity and closure. The personal vendetta has transformed into a broader justice, ensuring that the true nature of their actions is known. The path to retribution was fraught with challenges, but the final resolution brings a sense of vindication. The echoes of betrayal and the pursuit of justice resonate as I move forward, leaving behind a chapter defined by deceit and retribution. The story ends not with simple personal revenge but with a profound revelation of truth and accountability.